With the Rex Matriarch bosses coming out very soon, this is what I've done to prepare. So whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. For those somehow unaware, these are bosses similar to the Dagannoth Kings called the Rex Matriarchs, having 190,000 life points per boss, and are supposed to be around God Wars Dungeon 2 level difficulty, so Vindicta, Gregorvik, Hellweir, and so on. Now these bosses won't be AFK DPS dummies, although I do assume they will be DPS dummies in general, because they do have mechanics, so you don't just sit in one place and kill them, although we've yet to see if that is true or not. You're probably going to be killing them one by one using a certain combat style, but apparently you might be able to damage the other ones using mechanics of the other Rexes, so fighting them all three at once might actually be a proper tactic. This is the preset I've set up in advance for the Rex Matriarchs. Now I will probably remove the ZGS from the preset if the ranged Rex is actually quite easy and doesn't hit that hard. The only reason the ZGS is in there is because the ZGS spec doesn't make you take more damage like Berserk does, and it might be a good option if two Rexes are attacking you at once. And if the Rexes end up being super duper easy, which I don't suspect they will, they'll probably hit fairly hard, I'll just stick to my SGB, Inquisitor Staff, and Terrasol Maul. Now the Inquisitor Staff and Terrasol Maul will 100% work here. I have no doubt in my mind that they will, because the Terrasol Maul gives you extra accuracy and damage, making it tier 97, according to the Wiccans that calculated it, against ranged class enemies, and the Inquisitor Staff works in the same way except against melee class enemies, making it tier 97 staff. That shield in there might be swapped out if I can just soul split the entire fight and I don't need to res some kind of bomb mechanic, because you never know, it's a new boss, there's three of them and they have different mechanics. That's why shield is in there. The other stuff is simply to save on supplies, and I will probably adjust this preset right after having jumped in for the first time and getting clapped. Like, guaranteed. This is just what I'm going to use when I hop in for the first time. As for familiar, I was thinking a Ripper, but I probably need a Yak the first time I try, because you'll be eating through some of the mechanics when learning. As for the armor, I'm using a full hybrid setup, Cinderbanes, Animacorp Sliske, which has a chance to mimic, yes, mimic, War Priest effects, which is quite good. Then we have the Amulet of Souls, because I'm not going to be using an Essence of Finality at a supposedly mid-tier boss. You know, Ring of Death, probably don't need that, but I'm using it for stats. Since it's combat week, we'll have 3 deaths and unlimited overload, so you know, the overload doesn't need to be in this preset, but just in case, got it there. It's really just a bunch of weapons and hybrid armor, and that's it really, let's be honest here. Now, I will perk out my armor. I haven't perked it out yet. The reason I haven't done it yet is because the bosses might actually be so tough that I'll have to use my tier 90 armor as like a switch, like actually hybrid with all the armor sets on my inventory. That's the only reason I haven't perked it out yet, because otherwise it might be a waste of my money. If it does seem to work, I'll perk it out fully, and perhaps even use Venom Blood if the green version does actually poison hard like Gregorvik, or alternatively I'll use Irid Incense Sticks, which I did buy in advance by the way. I also got myself a Dinosaur's Task to get that Slayer Helmet damage and accuracy bonus, which is obviously on my Slayer stand in Iconia, so I don't need to wear the actual helmet. It comes down to wait and experience it, because if it's easy, I can remove some weapons and focus on endurance and longevity of trips, while reducing the amount of weapons I bring to reduce death costs. If it's hard, I'm going to be switching more items, using higher tier armor, and doing it that way with less food in my inventory and more food in a Yak or something. As for the drops, they're going to be expensive on release. Now sadly, I do have some lessons around release or update time, so I'm going to be a little late to the party. I will be making a loot video, or will be making a guide for sure, and for that loot video I'm probably going to camp these with 2 other friends. Each of us take one of the Rexes and we just sit there and get 100 kills each, combine that and make a loot video out of it. I will also most likely make a video testing Laniaka's Spear on Slayer tasks, as that's what it's going to be used for. It has lower accuracy but tier 90 damage, so the same as a Noxious Scythe but lower accuracy. Really interesting weapon, probably going to be quite good for some Slayer tasks. And that's what you can expect from me, and perhaps also a video of 3 dinosaurs beating one small YouTuber to death. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.